things in Cambodia were created were caused by the banking system. Right? So no banking system, no money needed, no material needed, no color needed. Everybody would just be, we're black, and we could all get along and live happily ever after. That was the idea behind what happened. And even to this day, you know, the Cambodian community, Cambodian Americans, there's still a lot of distrust, a lot of insecurity. If Peter were Cambodian, I might look at him as, you know, he looked sort of like some guy that tortured me. So therefore, I like him, but I couldn't trust him fully. Mr. Hood, you came here as an orphan. You came as an orphan. And I hate to use the word dumped, but they dumped him in New York City, in the worst part of New York City, with the Jewish community and the Khmer Rouge community, I heard. So they put him there, and he had to assimilate into new culture. And all of them, a couple of veterans we have here, they came and they dumped him in St. Paul, Minnesota, all else. And back in the 1980s, it wasn't like today. Today it snows, and then 24 hours or 12 hours later, it's gone. In 1980, if it snows, it stays that way for like a week. Does anybody have anything to share? What did you get out of this? Thank you for giving me like 20 minutes to kind of get that out of my system. I was sitting back and I
have something to
yes.
share.
Yes.
Back in the movie people, but on my part, I was a small class. I was 10 years old. Each family to send the labor camp. And I used to carry human manure to fertilize land every single day.
Human feces, human manure.
Yes. And then people cook somewhere, and we the children go to get it and carry it over there to eat, and that's fertilizer. So every day, and your body every single day, you cook every single day. No matter what happens to you, but still at home. But for them, it's kind of a little bit lucky because I did the and my group, all students were children of the lieutenant, children of the governor in my group who were students. And students were sent to harsh conditions even because you're the children of the corrupted people. You're the children of the bourgeois. And you were sent to harsh conditions and no food. And then we work from 6 o'clock to noon, and we eat daily super small rations. And then in half hour we go back to work.
Well, how old were you back at that time? How old?
Then 11 or 12 years old.
About 12 years of age.
And we work at 5, and then we get up. And then at that time, I hate the moon, because when the moon comes up, we work until 9 o'clock, even though we have food. The moon was so unspeakable for me at that time, because the moon made me work, even though you feel so tired, feel so hungry, really sleepy, and it works. Did you work? Like in the movie, when you sometimes steal the old food, you throw up something, you steal the old food, nobody can allow you. So I get caught, and then shackled. But anyway, I was very young. All the family was sad, but this for me didn't separate at instead. In my situation, they separate group the next week, or at 10 days after that, we separate group, and then going to the election, my sister go there, over there, and my try to go that way. Even my parents were here, I didn't know how to do it. But a lot of soldiers, all the soldiers were green and got Silu, and they just sent and he was there too, I think. And this truck about 45 truck on Highway 5, and it just killed them. And the movies true, but I was afraid to work in the field days and night, and my very huge and blue, and in my head it's totally totally look cold, and my feet just swollen with water, and I couldn't walk. And then if like I said, no food, you have to work to get food. If you don't work, you don't get food. So you work every day.
How accurate was this movie?
Yeah.
1 to 100.
Yeah.
How accurate?
99.5%.
99.5%.
Because only the part that it don't separate the right way for me is very instant. Because you can move around the world, you will separate the right way. And this one, he is able to hide the history the right way. For me, I had to get the picture close to have to put it wood super black. Or it's like a color, this is very instant too. So the story is very good, but I was it. From the start, I see people die, my classmate and my roommate, like sleep in the rain, without food, with no clothes, and no shoes, and most condition in the Khmer history. And then I could look here so many times because it brings me to the old time that I used to be all the time.
So this movie here, what can we, how can we benefit from this movie?
For me, it's flashback. When all the movies back to the time that I was, I would say, if you can understand the movie and you can stop the genocide, I would say, if you all understand the movie, the condition, and have the experience of the experience there, I would say you can help your country. If you don't know the story and you don't know the background of Cambodia, I would say genocide may happen there in Cambodia. When I Cambodia at the moment have very good first invasion of Cambodia, it might be the same process they are.
This couple, one of the first couple that came today, what did you think about this movie after watching it?
I guess for me, I think what is important about this movie for me is I think it does a lot of work. Both this movie and the other, I think it does a lot of work in talking about kind of the consequences of America. What I mean by that is that I think there's something to be said that the conditions that led up to the Cambodian genocide isn't simply just a Cambodian. It has to do with it. And I think it's fair, and I think that's something that is not talked about a lot, because I think ideally we like to think about America. We think about it in China, and we think about how we bring all these refugees and some, and yeah, but we don't talk about what happened originally in the first place, because a lot, and it's not simply just Cambodia, but it's also a lot of these Southeast Asian communities are here because of indirect or direct consequences of America. And though the movie it set some of that up in the beginning, I think we can think about the ways in which it is ours, like America's responsibility. In our, like, to one, when these stories are given to us by these people, because you don't have to, these are your traumas. And if you want to keep them to yourself and to your own, then let's understand like this, I feel like it reminds us of the responsibilities that we have to these communities and these people. And also, part of it too is that I think also simultaneously shows like, the resilience of how we live. Because more often than not, I feel like you hear stories about this, and it's like, oh, these people suffer, these people got through their things, and that's true. But there's a difference between always thinking about people suffering and then also thinking about how they survive and live. And this museum, and then that's an example of that.
So how can we benefit from this movie? What's the greatest benefit with having this type of movie for us to watch and also for, let's say, first time exposed to the Khmer community type audience?
I think about it, I think it is like this in corporate, like it may not seem to be something on a grand political scale, but I think the benefit is simply that it's there. It is this thing that's successful. It's this thing that now people can see and know that we can see this other community that is a part of us. It's a part of the community. And even more importantly, it gives back to the people that are also in Cambodia that awareness too. Like the global, that you're here, and I think in some ways having that presence and that history be there a part of now this greater history is a benefit to itself.
I look at what the U.S. responsibility, Vietnam War, the Vietnam War documentary start from September 17, and if the American refuse to be responsible for Cambodia, the movie by Canberra did not say anything about Cambodia and Cambodia and Laos. Because the Vietnam War itself, not only Vietnam, there were two countries, Laos and Cambodia, were play a huge part to look at how we say Cambodia. But so far, that's why the movie, the documentary, the U.S. channel, there's no Cambodian mentioned at all.
Yeah, so you have this huge documentary about the Vietnam War, and there's almost no mentioning of the Cambodian people. So it's almost like not a documentary. You know, if you have a documentary, you have to have sort of everybody in it.
Yeah, I think stories are okay. Vietnam, so far, maybe 10 more days, they even show. But so now I watched no Cambodian, no Laos. Only two words they didn't mention ocean chair. So decided that over completely about Cambodia and Vietnam. And the movie Nixon about Cambodia. And then no mention at all. So far we keep watching, we come later, but so far September 17th or Thursday next week, obviously no Cambodia. No. Not yet.
Not yet. So hopefully they will have a sweet ending somewhere in there. Here, hopefully they'll at least recognize the sacrifices made by not just the Khmer, but the Laotian, South Vietnamese, and
they're doing a film on the secret war,
okay, they are.
which is primarily about Laos.
Well,
No, I think for now only one. Lao in a mountain Lao, but no Lao. That's only one I will play. This is what I was told. Only one. Because people only one state. No Lao in Cambodia.
yeah.
I don't think they're doing anything on Cambodia.
No, none. Zero so far.
I think that America still has a hard time with it, with including Cambodia, because there is a large level of guilt there. Not only did they, I mean, Pol Pot was in power before he was in, or he was in politics well before he went into power. I mean, I'm glad. One of my favorite parts that Angela, and she didn't focus on it. It was just a little statement when the family was sitting in the house, and the Khmer guy was sitting there, and he was like, the reason why I joined was because of the American bombings. So they created this environment. Then, when the Khmer finally overtook, because all these farmers were trying to protect their families, and the Khmer finally overtook, they picked up all their toys and they left. And they said, we don't want to deal with it anymore. And then they just pretended like we didn't even exist. For 5 years, they pretended like we didn't exist. So now that they see us, I think there's still a large amount of guilt there. And it's hard to face, it's hard to face your demons. And for I think the Khmer people are demons to the U.S. government, because we are like, what happens when you use like power and strength, and when you use us as a barrier, or people as a barrier of a war of idealism, this is what happens. And so I think it was easier for the Laos, because the Laos, I think they kind of gave in at the end of it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't as bad as the Cambodians. The Cambodians didn't give in. They stuck Lon Nol in power. They were there for 2 minutes, and then they found out, wait, we can't save Cambodia, so let's leave.
So what's the biggest benefit with this movie?
You want my honest opinion? I don't remember anything about Khmer. I was born in '78. It was right at the end when they were leaving. All I know is the stories that I'm told. And even while they were leaving, my parents still had to run through the jungles, to get to Thailand. And that's the stories I hear. And for me, this is a real good arts movie. It's really good arts. And it's a beautiful story, and I almost hit tears a few times. Does it do anything educational for me? No, except put me into tears, because there's really no, and it's meant to win awards. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about the movie. It's meant to win awards. I don't think but it's not a documentary either. It's meant to make you feel, and you feel from it. But do you get the true kind of experience? Like, even with the Killing Fields, my parents didn't like that movie because they said it wasn't a true experience of what happened.
Melissa, you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I want to ask you, these three guys, can you guys give me just 5 more minutes before you guys take off? Because I think you guys are in your 20s, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some food.
Phil, you're in your 20s too, Phil?
I was in my 40s once.
What did you guys think of this movie, and what's the benefit of having this type of movie shown? What I believe, and from what I read, it's going to be nominated as a best foreign film of the year.
As I said, it was made to that.
So what do you guys think, and what's the greatest benefit in having this type of movie?
For me, I was growing up and we're living in this neighborhood, and there's a Vietnamese family there. So then I was growing up saying that we don't like them, so don't befriend them. So now it's kind of, the movie's going to confirm a little bit, but not really much. They have no story.
Well, I myself was born and raised in Cambodia, so I came to the US just for school. So I definitely have heard and learned a lot from my parents and the older generations on how they have lived and how they were treated. And mostly, yes, that's pretty much what I learned, what I heard, and that's also applied to all my friends in this age as well.
Did you learn in school?
20s.
Was it in school or just from your parents?
Sorry?
Did you learn it in school or from your
No,
parents?
did not really learn from school at all. It's like nothing really. Mostly just words from parents. And so this movie definitely helps us just confirm, instead of just hearing but actually seeing everything in action. So it definitely is just exactly the same as what I was told in this movie. So I think it's pretty accurate. Yeah.
I was born and raised in Cambodia too. I'm just here to school. So similar stories I heard about Khmer Rouge from my relatives, my parents, and my teachers. So they got to go into in much detail.
And nothing in school, right? No, was there mentioning in school?
In history class, like, okay, this happened, but they didn't really say how suffering it was. Yeah, like, okay, this happened from 75 to 79. It lasts for 3 years,
Yeah.
8 months, and 20 days. 21? Okay, well, 20 days, yeah. So I learned about the numbers, but I learned about their experience from actual people's life who went through it. My parents were young, so they didn't have much story. It was similar to how the author was going through, like just going through to farm.